Okay, another day, another step closer to eternity. So let's keep searching out who our God is. All right, the Ten Commandments. So, in reading this, let's pay attention to the fact that the first four commandments pertain to the relationship between God and the Israelites, and the other six deal with social relationships within the covenant community. People also split these commandments as both vertical and horizontal. First, the vertical between God and man, and then the horizontal between man and the community. By these Ten Commandments, true theology and true worship, the name of God in the Sabbath, family honor, life, marriage, property, truth, and virtue are valued and protected. Okay, verse 1. Then God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol, or any likeness of what is in heaven above, or on earth beneath, or in the water under the earth. You shall not worship them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children, on the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. But show loving kindness to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. All right, the word idol here is pesel, which means to carve, such as in wood or stone. God is spiritual and wants no material representation to resemble him. To make an idol of God, like something in the sky, such as the sun, moon, or stars, or on earth, such as land or sea animals, was forbidden. The comment about him being a jealous God displays that he requires unique devotion and is always in reference to idolatry in the scriptures. And we see this again in Exodus chapter 34. Absence of such dedication is sin and has effects on future generations as well. Verse 7. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not leave him unpunished who takes his name in vain. All right, seriously, how many times in a day do we hear people doing this? Saying OMG or Jesus' name as a cuss word just rolls completely effortlessly off of people's tongues today. Followers of Christ, this is an extreme offense to God, and we need to be aware of this and use proper language. God's name is holy and is to be honored and revered. And as we'll read in the New Testament, he does not like swearing either. So let us be conscientious of our words and speak in a manner that honors God. This is not hard to do when your love and reverence for God is top priority in your mind, basically by staying in his word. When we do things like stub a toe, we should just suppress ourselves and nothing needs to come out of our mouths. Verse 8, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male or your female servant, or your cattle, or your sojourner who stays with you. Verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. All right, and let us not forget the target audience here. The basis for this commandment is God's creating the universe in 6 days and resting on the seventh. This was to be a day of solemn worship to God. Each seventh day belonged to the Lord and would not be a work day, but one set apart for rest and for time devoted to the worship of Yahweh. The term Sabbath is derived from to rest or to cease from work. In the present church age, the day of worship has been changed from Saturday to Sunday because of Jesus' resurrection on the first day of the week. Significantly, the command for the Sabbath is not repeated in the New Testament, whereas the other 9 are. In fact, it is nullified in Colossians chapter 2, verse 16 and 17. It belongs especially to Israel under the Mosaic economy. The Sabbath could not apply to the believer of the church age, for he is living in a new economy with its identity found in Christ. Verse 12, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be prolonged in the land which the Lord your God gives you. Oh, how far our culture has drifted from this societal command. The beginning of one's respect for others and authority starts in the home, and ultimately is a reflection of a child's love and reverence of God guided by the parents. Verse 13, you shall not murder. Verse 14, you shall not commit adultery. And this is another command in regards to protecting the sanctity of the home, the fundamental building block of a society. The marital vow is a holy commitment that should not be violated. Verse 15, You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And so lying or speaking unjustly about somebody's character had and has the ability to destroy one's reputation and affect their livelihood. Verse 17, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So keep your eyes on your own stuff. Verse 18, all the people perceived the thunder and the lightning flashes and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood at a distance. Then they said to Moses, speak to us yourself, and we will listen. But let not God speak to us, or we will die. So due to their fear of God, the Israelites wanted Moses to be their mediator. Verse 20, Moses said to the people, do not be afraid, for God has come in order to test you, and in order that the fear of him may remain with you, so that you may not sin. Verse 21, so the people stood at a distance while Moses approached the thick cloud where God was. Then the Lord said to Moses, thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, you yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. You shall not make other gods besides me, gods of silver or gods of gold. You shall not make for yourselves. You shall make an altar of earth for me, and you shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen, in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. I will come to you and bless you. Verse 25, if you make an altar of stone for me, you shall not build it of cut stones, for if you wield your tool on it, you will profane it. And you shall not go up by steps to my altar, so that your nakedness will not be exposed on it. All right, reference to a single altar indicates that God intended that worship should be centralized in one place. The altar was to be unordained by craftsmanship, meaning that it shouldn't be overly extravagant. It was to be of natural stones and without steps, so priests would not be indecently exposed. Altars with elaborate craftsmanship and elevated platforms with staircases were common in worship of false deities, and God didn't want any connection to any of that. Okay, it's a lot to digest there. That's a great chapter. I think I'm going to go over this a couple times. Thanks for being here with me today. Hope you have a good week, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. God bless you.